the issue of abuse or whatever, let me remind ourselves, there's no human organization on this earth that cannot be abused if you want to abuse it. For example, in the United States, as we speak today, their president is at war in the Middle East or in Iran without getting presidential fiat, Congress fiat, which is the normal standard format. It's a form of abuse, despite the fact that they have practiced democracy for 250 years or more. So the point I'm saying is that we should not be afraid of any phenomenon based on the ideals or perceived fear. Yes, anything can be abused. Even a scientific process can be abused. Scientific knowledge can be abused. Laboratory experiment can be abused. Yeah. And when we are talking about policing, policing is social construct. So if you have fear of abuse, the important thing we need to do is that, arising from our fear of abuse, what can we do to alleviate it? And there are many dynamics to check the abuse. For example, if we run a state police procedure through the kind of study we are carrying, and we come and say, look, state police operate within parameter. We have classification of offenses. We have miscellaneous offenses. We have simple offenses. We have felony. Now, if we can reconstruct it in such a way that state police takes care of miscellaneous offenses or simple offenses and simple offenses, and when felony occurs, there must be reference to the national police. Once there's a legislative provision in the way I'm speaking, the so-called abuse, for example, simple offenses are like my car hit your car on the road in the go-slow. I was moving and my shoulder touched your granite store and the granite stand fell down. Or my wife poured water on your wife in our compound. Where these are miscellaneous affairs that in the law, when we state it, that when we say miscellaneous crimes fall within these parameters, it can never be abused. So, and of course, too, in that provision, we're going to make it that in case offense happens, in those states that is having geographical boundary or that is contiguous to Ekiti, how will the state police, pursue the felon contiguously in their common boundary to Ekiti? All those things will be provided. Like the federal police, if an offense takes place in FCT police, which is the command, and the criminal is on the run going to Nasarawa, certainly our law permits that the FCT police continue pursuing them. And so all I'm trying to say that the guarantee for abuse are very, very perfect. We can equally say state police will not participate in national election. Okay, so etc. and etc. and etc. So I want to assure Nigerians that the so-called fear can be screwed down, provided we make all these elements. We provide for it in our legislation.
Those countries that you highlighted, it can't be taken in isolation. They've got certain laws and rules. Even the president has been to court, has been indicted several cases, but we don't see those kind of scenarios here. So we can't just take that unilaterally as though that appears to be the norm. But in our own case, there are huge concerns. For instance, the election part, which you speak about. What safeguards do you think can be put in place to ensure that governors don't turn the state police into political enforcement groups?
Simple. For example, the last Ekiti state by-election, gubernatorial election, which was off-season election, one of the federal regulation through INEC, INEC is a federal body, so their regulations are more or less a kind of federal regulation, was that state security entities, vigilantes, Amoteco and whatever, do not participate in the election. And it was only the national police or the federal police that were in that jurisdiction or that were deployed that participated. It's one of the safeguards. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. We are doing national census. We may say state police should not be involved except federal police, federal SSS, and national army. And it will be done in that way. So in the same like manner, there could be presidential visit. The standard operation manual, POS, who said, look, the presidential lining from Ikeja Airport to Lagos Island, it's only federal police and SSS that will participate. It will stand. You will never see state element or state security people.
So what did they argue and say, why should state police not participate? Is the president or the politician? Is it now going to use the federal police to manipulate?
It doesn't necessarily mean so.
Like that?
The president, apart from being a politician, is our sovereign. Huh? Yes, he's a national sovereign. President is a sovereign authority. When we say Federal Republic of Nigeria, the sovereign authority, we say this is Nigeria's sovereign authority.
But yeah, I get your point, but it's not above the law.
It's not. I won't allow me to finish this explanation. The president is not an ordinary politician. It's a sovereign authority. A sovereign authority is higher than a political authority. And in that respect, take this knowledge, this perspective to the bank. And in that respect, it should be very, very out of place for us as Nigerians to say, after all, he's a president, not a politician. Why should he declare that? It doesn't go in that way. We must understand how.
No, why not? He's a politician.
He's a politician. Good. I'm not only. It's a sovereign authority. A sovereign authority is higher than a politician. That's the point I'm making.
Well, sovereign authority is a politician affair before a sovereign authority.
Not necessarily so. Somebody may not be a politician, can be sovereign authority. Depends on the form of government in existence. Wow. There was a time. You understand my point? There was a time we run some form of government before, different from what we're having now. The person who was the leader of the government or who was the leader of Nigeria in whatever nomenclature you call it, is a sovereign.